Alright. Sorry, I'm just waiting for this to, What's up, man? Sorry, I was just waiting for this thing to start up. Where's my lifesavers? I ate all my lifesavers. God damn it. Alright. Let's talk about what we came here to talk about here. So, let's put on a little bit of background music. So, we're going to talk a little. I want to do this video real quick just to talk a little bit about the tournament. I always find it interesting, the tournament time. Even when I'm not really playing in the tournament, I always find it really interesting. So maybe no one will find this interesting, maybe only me, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyways. So, we'll look at the most current standings. We're in day 4 right here. It opened only Friday, so it's something over the weekend. Not a lot of people have turned out for this one. It doesn't surprise me, just because it's not the world's best tournament. Some of the tables are really kind of interesting. It's more of a, I don't know. I dare hate to say shot makers tournament, but it is what it is. But yeah. So take a quick peek at this, just because it always fascinates me. Actually, I wish I could watch a lot of people play this live, which I would commend a lot of you all. I saw Voof playing the other day. I've seen a couple other people who are actually in the tournament streaming live, which is what you want to see when you do a tournament like this. So, but yeah, so interesting enough. Well, not interesting enough. Gold tier, PBW and Voof have top. That does not surprise me. But the interesting thing about gold, and I'll go through some of the gold I like watching in gold and how it lays out right now. But this will be, as of right now, and it's very strange. I find it fucking intriguing, if nothing else. Tarek did not make an appearance in the last gold tournament. Now, traditionally, Tarek I've never seen him miss a tournament in like probably 8 or 10 months that I've been playing TPA. But it's very strange that he was not in the last months. Now, man, maybe people of us know a lot about Tarek, at least that I know of. I've heard he's a very silent player as far as forums and different shit like that. Dizzer doesn't usually show up to our tournaments too much either. I've seen him show up into the giveaways and shit. But it was interesting not to see Tarek in the top spot. So, or even play at all. So Tarek was not with us last month. And it doesn't seem like his trend is changing too much this month. Not really sure. Tarek sometimes likes to join in like day 4 or 3. It usually doesn't take him very long to take up the top score whenever he is playing. But it'll be interesting to see if he jumps back in. It always is an interesting mix, because when Tarek's out there, he can really mess up the top 10 and really shift some points around. Obviously you can take first and take points away from somebody else, and then the way the brackets work and everything. So that's always fun. But as of right now, PBW and Voof are up there. Again, not a big surprise. Dave, 950, another good player. Nice to see him up there towards the top. Let's see. Rudy Suit, my man, Rudy Suit, at number 8. And if I'm going to check out his scores real quick, he's got, he could use a little work here and there. I mean, Rudy's got a good position. He's got a good start. He needs to get, from my opinion, if you want to stick close to the top 25, you need to get everything, in reasonable format, 15 to 20. So, he's going to need to push these two up, and the rest of them are okay. Maybe Diner just a little bit. I think he's got room to move on both of these. It's just a matter of execution. His flight score isn't really all that bad. I mean, he could push it up a little bit, but there's a couple others. Safe Cracker, that's a good score. I mean, he's got room to move. Even on Party Zone, I'm pretty sure he could push that score up. So if he wants to stay up into that top 25, he'll need to stay up. If he wants to stay in the top 10, he's really going to have to push really, really hard, I think. Top 10 usually comes up with some pretty heavy duty shit. So who else we got playing? Alina, and what's weird, and what my friend Switch would tell you, the first couple days, people like to sandbag, and that doesn't surprise me, because obviously if you put up a score, and I've experienced this, when you put up a really high score, or what you think is a high score, and it gives someone the benchmark for what they need to beat, and they're good enough, they can just practice and go out and beat you. And then maybe throw in the, you know, these tournaments usually end at 6 or 7 p.m. Central Time. So if you can't, obviously like me, I go to sleep at 1 or 2 o'clock. I don't have it. I can't play the last 5 or 6 hours of the tournament. So I could theoretically get my score beat. So you can get lackadaisy and lose that way too. And giving first point and second place is important. You can lose quite a bit of points in there. So what else we got here? So yeah, a lot of people have not shown up on the board. They're playing, but they're not putting in full scores. Like PBW, yeah, PBW's got all his scores in, at least the starter scores. So is Voof. I imagine that they'll go higher. Who else we got? So none of these guys I really see too much. Some of them are like Runner, I see every once in a while. None of the other guys I see really in the top. Now AJ is another one. AJ finished, I think, in the top 10 last month, so he's a good player. I imagine I'll see him at the top. You can see some of these scores: 80, 29, 54, 44. We'll see him put these scores up higher, but it looks like he just wanted to put some quick submissions in to get his get at least him on the board in the tournament. Doesn't surprise me. AJ will sneak up on you. He's a sneaky bastard. Who else we got in here? The guys that I want. Massive Drake, another one of these guys. He'll show up at last. It looks like now he's another one I was saying. He did this last month too. He's holding out 3 scores. Now, do I believe he didn't have time to play those scores? No, I do not. I think he does it on purpose. And trust me, I do the same thing to some degree, depending on how I want to play a tournament. I'll put up scores like that, hold out my top 3, and some people will. They know they got these top 3, like these are their tables, they're down pat, and they'll wait till the end to put them in, or closer to the end, maybe the last day or 2. So he'll jump up around into the top 10 or 15 easy. I know he will, unless he doesn't choose to play the rest of it. But yeah, him and AJ are another ones to watch out for. So they're theoretically sandbagging. Let's see what else we got here. Lord Squeaks. Now, I don't know what the fuck Squeaks is doing. He must have played like one time. But 76, first that's a good score. 77, I mean, he's got one good score out of all of them. I'd imagine he just kind of put in a couple minutes on all of them. Those are not his real scores. Lord Squeaks, again, is a top 10 player. Don't fuck with Squeaks, man. He's a serious motherfucker. So we'll be waiting for him to jump in the top 10 too. Again, it's really early. A lot of these guys won't put in their scores. So a couple of last couple days. Doesn't surprise me. Squeaks is a sneaky Swede, as it were. Alright, let's see what we got. There's one more I want to call her. Steffi Pie. She put in the same thing like Squeaks. Put in some scores. You know, I mean, starter scores. I'm sure she'll get better at all these. None of these are groundbreaking scores, but they will get better. Firepower 50. I mean, they'll get better. Those are starters. You give it a good try, at least. And then Osric. What the fuck? What happened to my man, old man Oz, man? What's going on? How do you get last place? That just hurts. I couldn't go out like that, Oz. I would at least have played. I would at least have played just a little bit, like a sea hair more. You know what I mean? To get my scores out of last. But whatever, it's fine. He's only played 2, so whatever. He's fine. Osric 1847. So let's go back up and we'll look at if I know anybody in these other brackets here. Again, I'm not an aficionado, so don't know who that is. Silver. Where was the one I was going to call it? Silver. Where was it? Hook. I've seen him. Pretty good. This is a low. This is 671. Is pretty low. They're dividing their scores up pretty well. These must be a lot of starter scores as well. This would not surprise me in the least. None of these guys I really recognize offhand. Let me see. Go down here. Pin Spotter. Yeah, Pin Spotter should do well. Again, the score's a little low here. You put up higher. The silver bracket is always an interesting bracket to me whenever they play, most of the time, unless you get a bunch of guys who are just now getting into the tournament scene who blow it up. Typically, it's a weird mix. They never seem to put up as high as scores as either bronze or gold, but so it makes it a little easier to move out of there. But I know he'll do better. Pin Spotter's a good player, definitely a good player. Yes, I don't know much about this. But the other one I wanted to point out was Waspinator, my buddy Wasp, the big Wasp. He's been struggling. He's been actually putting his shit up a lot on stream lately, so which is nice. It's always good to see people actually, you know, showing you how they're doing their scores. This is his first tournament, by the way. He's actually, I don't think he's not been into TPA very long, so I commend him for that. I'm glad he's doing it. I think we kind of mentioned it to him that he should anyways. But yeah, he's been really, he was struggling yesterday on his Flight 2000 score, trying to get it up. He did finally get a new PB, which put him in first. But I think his goal is to try to finish first, and why not? I mean, I wanted to finish first when I was in bronze and silver as well. I'm trying to see what his score is. Second, first, fourth, seventh. He could kick that up. Victory, he could kick that up. Save cracker, he could kick that up. I mean, if he's like a few out of the hat to kick it up, and then he'll be fine. This guy is really, I don't know who this is. Again, you get a lot of new players when you're in bronze. What's up, VPF? You get a lot of new guys when you're in bronze. I don't know who this is. Maybe VPF or Voof or one of these other guys know. But yeah, he's really been giving Wasp a hard time at bronze. It's actually kind of funny because Wasp had first for a while. What's up, Hip Pause? Yeah, Wasp kind of had first overall in this tournament for a little bit until this guy came in and then kicked the fuck out of Wasp. And Wasp was really stressing last night. It was kind of funny to watch. I mean, I love Wasp, but it's funny because I know he really wants to finish first, and he's a competitive guy just like me. So yeah, he's got let me look at this. Let's look at his score comparatively. So yeah, if he was facing there, he'd be top 15. Wasp's got that. Yeah, see this, there would be a different ranking. Let's see, 46. That would be a good score. He'd be really high up in gold. 39, he'd be high up in there. 20, he'd be fairly high. Save cracker would be fairly high. Well, wait. Where is he at? There's Wasp. I don't even know what. Oh, he's low. He pushes that up. He's in good state. Diner, yeah, he'd be high. He's doing pretty good even against some of the top brackets over here. So yeah, he should be interesting. Now, haven't had the time yet. Yes, VP, and that's another one. Talk about sleepers. I'm glad some guys have dropped into the chat right here. The old sleepers. Another Hit Pause. Hit Pause is another really good player, y'all. He'll be in the top 10 or 15, guarantee you. Yes, I am in gold. Hit Pause. Hit Pause will. You know, some of these guys, like I said, I've heard it different ways. Switch will tell you one way. I'll tell you one way. Some people say start off early, start off strong, go for it. Some people say don't wear yourself out, don't put up good scores, because if you put up the good scores, they'll have time to beat your scores later, which kind of makes sense, but I'm not really sure exactly if I believe that model, because I think, for instance, in the last tournament, I put up Attack from Mars. I want to say my score was in like the first 3 or 4 days of the tournament and no one beat me. Actually, I was shocked that no one beat my Attack from Mars first place, because I think that's an easy table and one that they should have, like, people should have took first, or it really should have been higher. I don't remember what it was. It was probably like 29, 30 million or billion, but I was surprised no one touched it the whole tournament, so I didn't lose it. But either way, it just depends. Some people said don't put up high scores. My thought is sometimes, for me, I like the spirit of competition, so here's my thing, and you guys can take it any way you want to, but if you're good at the table and you think you're the best, then you should put out your score out there for beat to be beat to see if you really are the best. If you kind of sneak attack at the end, I don't know how much you could claim whether or not you're really that good. Maybe you can't. I mean, it's one half and the other. That's what you know what I mean, the old sayings. But my personal thought is I don't like to wait too long. You're not gonna see me staying up till 7 a.m. trying to put up these last minute scores just to beat people out. So sandbagging to a certain degree maybe work, but not for me as much. But yeah, so yeah, Hit Pause is another one to watch. What's he saying? I'm not in the tournament. I'm gonna be out of town, but wouldn't be a huge set. You know, Hit Pause says that he's very modest. He's a modest motherfucker. But here's the point. Here's the thing. Could Hit Pause gonna take number 1? No. But the way the tournaments work with a point system, based points on all the tables across the board. Let's say Hit Pause, I've got like 3 10th place finishes, okay, and I'm getting points for that to stay up towards the top. If Hit Pause comes in and finishes 9th on each one and knocks me down, then effectively not only did he get points, but he took away some of my points. So I can lose by not even playing. So that's kind of where that works in that, like you said, maybe Hit Pause is not a big threat. He may not be a big threat to 1st, 3rd, or 4th, but he could be a big threat to those of us trying to finish in the top 10 or top 20. or even the top 50, depending on where you're sitting. So that's not necessarily true, and that's why it's always interesting to watch these tournament brackets unfold as they do. Yeah, so in VPN, not Pinball Wiz, BPW. I love that name, by the way. You should change your name from Pinball Wiz to BPW. It sounds like a goddamn sports name, like A-Rod and all that shit. It's great. BPF is another guy. You got to watch out for his ass, man. He'll get in on you, and he'll put it in, so to speak, right there. Fuck up your day. So it is a double-edged sword, hit pause. I do agree. When you give good switch, etc., you can easily get past. It depends. I mean, I've seen. Here's the thing, and that brings up another good point. And I know a lot of people talk about him. You know, you got Tarek, Wiz, Voof, Switch, maybe even AJ, Lord Squeak, some of that. You guys talk about him, even Dizzer. That you know, it's like they're always gonna get first or second. That's not always true. I'm not saying that Voof and them can't do it, but here's the thing: no one's indestructible, and everyone has a bad run. And maybe it's just your day. You can always, I mean, it's one of those things. I don't think any of us that I've ever seen play TPA, the fucking cheaters, I don't think any of the guys that I've seen are indestructible, so to speak. Meaning they're like robots. They can't have a bad tournament or a bad couple games. And doesn't mean that you, on the other end, can't have a really good game, and that we also haven't topped out. So every game I see, they keep getting better. Can't top Tarek. What's up? Well, you know what? We may have to go into that one day because I'm not really 100% certain of what's going on there with Tarek. I find his scores to be quite questionable. I'm not saying he's a cheater. There's a lot of people out there who would say he's a cheater. I'm not going to say he's a cheater, but it is suspect. And here's the thing, if you guys have seen me do top scores or top runs in the tournament, I stream most of them. There's video evidence. You can see how fast I'm going. You see all this shit. Some of the guys who don't in the top spot, I mean, if you're the best and you can do it at a distance and you have no video evidence of some shit, then it becomes minorly questionable. I'm not saying anyone's cheating. I'm just saying it would be nice for us to see. Yeah, VPF. So I would say Terry puts in the row. He does. I'm saying he's either the best or one of the best, or he's one of the best cheaters. If it was me and I was the best and then people kept bitching at me about possibility of cheating or possibilities using slowdown or old computers or whatever, I would stream everything I do, because why would I waste my time and people thinking otherwise? Now everyone's going to try to take down the top couple players and say that we're doing something that they're not, and they complain about it. But if we show you, then you can't, put up and shut up. So, that's just my own opinion. But it still makes it really interesting as far as what's going on. I love watching these, especially when you get into the low ends. Now, my fear with some of these, and this just goes for people like Rudy and those, I'm not saying they got bad scores. They've got decent scores. They're keeping themselves in the top 10 or 20. But if like Hit Pause, VPW, BPF, a lot of these other guys come in, they can go. I mean, I've seen Rudy stay in the top 10 for like the first 3 or 4 days, and then all of a sudden, because of the point system and the way it worked, 5 or 6 people come in and they just fucking obliterate him. I mean, he gets pushed down to like 50th. That's just how much you got to keep up with it. Makes it for a really interesting scenario. I still believe personally that there should be a tier above gold. I think gold is too flooded with what I would consider to be casual players. And I'm not saying people don't care, but there are some casual players. I honestly think, and shoot me, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think people like Rudy, Steffi Pie, maybe even Osric, some of this. I'm not saying you guys don't belong in gold. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is, because of some of the skill levels of the guys who always finish top 15, it's not a real balanced top tier for me. Because I think if you should have brackets defined by skill level, so there should be probably more than 3. And I think it kind of sucks every tournament we see Tarek and in like the same 6 guys finishing in the same top 6 places. And I'm not saying they don't deserve to be there, but maybe they should be in their own, so that it gives the other guys a chance to get up closer into the top 10 in their own bracket, respectively. There's nothing wrong with being, in the top of a certain bracket and averages. It's just like in bowling. I mean, you wouldn't want to, a 220 average guy can be beat by a 180 average guy, and I mean they play in the same thing. It kind of doesn't work out for me. So But it would be nice to get a little bit more. Once hit pause, I run a TPA through my 4K TV and it goes into slow-mo. We all know Rudy's cheating. He has his daughter off camera with his control. Oh, is that how it works? She's a savant, so to speak. Is that what you're saying? I don't know. I'd have to ask Rudy. It's possible. He gets pretty drunk and he's still able to play. I couldn't do that. But Rudy belonged in Brown League. Oh, that's just mean. Rudy doesn't belong in Browns League. Rudy, I think Rudy definitely has earned gold. I just think some of us need to be kicked out of gold and we need to be put into a platinum. That's all I'm saying. It should, I mean, and platinum should be, and honestly, the getting from gold to platinum, it should be kind of the same way. You got to finish top 10 or top 10%, whatever. But it should be a smaller pool, and it should be a lot easier to fall out of these. For instance, I was telling somebody the other day, I don't mind the top 10 to move up, but I think as you move up, the percentage of the people in the bottom that get kicked down should be higher. So maybe like silver should be 50% get kicked down, then or 25, and then maybe gold would be 60, 70, just to keep things fair enough. Because if you get into gold, and that's fine, you're in gold, but when you want to stay in gold, you should have to perform pretty high. It makes it a little more back and forth, maybe. But maybe it's just me. I don't know. Platinum would be nice. Some sort of platinum league to stick like the top 20 of us. And I mean, I could name them real off. Most of the ones I named off earlier, we should all be in our own league facing off each other. Makes things a little more interesting. Is that the correct number of participants? Yes, as of right now, for the overalls, 96, 78, 92. I wouldn't say it's a real high number, but it's fairly low for right now. But again, we're early. A lot of people are early. And one thing which is really interesting I want to mention, and this just goes as an interesting side note, my good buddy, as somebody mentioned earlier, Switch is MIA. I have not been able to get a hold of Switch in a couple days. And usually I talk to him on Discord in voice chat fairly frequently. But I haven't seen him in like a week and a half. So I don't know what he's going to do. Switch is always a top 5 player, no matter what he does, pretty much, unless a bunch of really, really high people get in. But Switch is the man. So I've been waiting to see what happens when he comes in, kind of mix it up a little bit. I myself, I have not decided if I'm going to play this tournament. I really hate all these tables. Hate's not the right word. I don't like all these tables. Yeah, it is really strange. Switch has a pretty laid back schedule. Would you stop, fucking disastrous cat? Switch has a pretty loose job, so I'm really kind of surprised. I don't know what's happening over there in Sweden. Maybe there's something going on. But yeah, I mean, Squeak seems to be fine. So, but yeah, I don't know. So maybe he will jump in, maybe he won't. Switch is another guy who believes in the sandbag method. So he's not a guy who likes to put up scores in the first couple days. But he could really fuck up this tournament as well. I myself, I don't believe I'm going to play this one, just because these aren't any of the tables that I frequently play, or even some of them I've never played, like Safecracker. I've never played Safecracker. And to be fair with you, unless Switch comes in and just for a friendly point of competition, I may pass. I'm not a big fan of getting into tables that I don't know anything about. Now, if there were 3 or 4 of them that I knew something about, then I might push myself, because I do like to play for fun. But yeah, I don't know if you guys are gonna see me up there. I finished pretty good last month. I think I got like 6th or something, so I was pretty happy with that. But yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna play this one. But yeah, I'm really interested about Switch. I gotta find that motherfucker, man. Switch and being a goody buddy. So, but yeah, I may do some more of these little updates because I just like talking about how this shit's gonna lay out. Day 4 is a good way to do it. Don't want to do it day 1. But as we get closer to the, probably day 1, maybe the last 24 hours, maybe I'll redo it and just take a quick peek at what's going on here. Maybe do another little segment. I'm probably going to upload this to YouTube if any of y'all didn't catch the full thing. Or even if it's even that interesting. But I appreciate you guys who are in here. I look forward to seeing how your all scores comes out. I'm sure a lot of you will do something interesting. Maybe not. And Hit Pause, really disappointing. Hit Pause is not going to be playing. I always enjoy playing against him. Haven't talked to AJ yet. That motherfucker always tries to beat me too, so we'll see how that goes. But, gentlemen, let me see if there's anyone I can send this to. I can send you over to Benevolent Dick. Hold on just a sec. You hate Safecracker? I don't like Safecracker either. I've seen people play it. It doesn't look like my kind of my kind of thing. But anyways, y'all, I'm signing off. I'll probably stream some other pinball this week. I think I'm gonna go after Monster Bash and try to get a higher score on that. Such a good song, Metal Metroid.